All right, so just real quick for you guys, this is a 2009 Ford Edge, and I was going to spend this weekend working on some other projects, but this came up last minute. And if you guys have ever looked up doing the water pump on a 2009 Ford Edge, they're super fun. If you take it to a shop, you're looking at $2,000 ish. If you take it to the dealer, you're looking at about $3,000 was the numbers I was quoted. So we're gonna find out how much truth there is to that. The reason for that is the water pump's behind the timing chain. So I don't have a whole lot of time to do this one, but I wanted to show you guys how in depth it gets to do this water pump, and maybe at the end of it I'll give you an overview of it. I'll just set the camera up here and do a time lapse. I'll probably move it around because I got to get to the passenger side and pull the wheel off, do a bunch of stuff down there, and then basically everything up here has to get out of the way. We're also going to do the spark plugs, and there is a crossover tube for the coolant that comes from basically the back of the water pump up the valley and then comes out over here, and there's O-rings on that commonly go bad, so we're going to replace those as well, along with, anything else we find along the way. I think we're going to do some timing chain guides while we're there, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So
even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself.
Alright, so there was some stuff that was just in there in a way that I couldn't super video. I tried to get a little bit of the process, but here we are. So the old water pump is out, and as you can see, it's broken. These are supposed to not have little rounded edges on them. That, and like, see how that does not move smoothly? And you can hear it grinding and stuff. That, and there's a ton of play in it. I can't really show you with one hand, but like it's moving just like back and forth and all over the place. So it was definitely bad. And what happens when it goes bad is it starts pumping water. When it goes that bad, it starts pumping water just right into your oil pan, and it starts going everywhere. So that pan was just full of water. Not to mention, you know, possible metal contaminants and stuff like that. One piece of advice I would have for you if you're going to do this job is get the little things that hold these cams in place, because I didn't, and I didn't think about it, and yeah, I'm gonna have to deal with it. But this is the only tensioner guide that you're not gonna be able to get off, because this gear's in the way, so you'd have to pull that off, and I don't want to do that. But everything else you do have to pull off. These guys, which are the phasers, or the phaser sensor dealios, I don't know the proper term for them, to get to the top of these two, which you do have to do because they go over the water pump. You can see I've got tape on the intake. There's a pipe down in here. Well, it's not in there anymore. I'll show you what it looks like. Just this guy, and it's got an O-ring on both ends, and that's a super common place for them to fail. And Napa, AutoZone, O'Reilly's, and stuff like that, they don't even have a part number for those O-rings. So what you can do is, once you get it off, you can take it in and they can get an O-ring that fits for you, or they do have them online. So do with that information what you will. And then let's see what else. I would highly recommend doing the power steering pump belt while you're there, because it's a stretch fit belt. This is the timing cover if you want to take a look at it. I would also do this front main seal like I'm gonna do. This car's got 170,000 on it. Really the main hard part about getting this cover off, there's two of them. One is the engine mount, which goes in, you know, the three holes there in the middle. You have to jack up and let down and up and down the engine, and you can just barely finagle it out. And then the power steering pump mounts to these two holes in the side here, and there's also a bolt back here. So you could possibly just pull these two bolts out and pull this away, but it's really difficult to get to that bolt and that bolt with the power steering pump on there. So I would recommend taking it off, but it is a huge pain to get to this bolt. And it's not ideal to get to this bolt or the bolt behind it either. Your timing marks, you've got a little orange link on, let me show you on this side. you've got 3 little orange links on the chain. Same down here somewhere, maybe right here. Oh, this one's a golden one. But you've got 3 marks, and they correspond to little dots on the gears. There's a dot there. I don't know if you can see the one that this one's lined up with. There's also one that corresponds over there. And all of those need to be lined up before you put the engine back together. The tensioner. You only have to pull 1 tensioner off because there's 3 tensioners, but you don't have to pull. I'll show you real quick. There's 3 timing chains. You do not have to remove these ones. Don't have to worry about them. Don't have to line them up. Don't worry about doing anything with it. But there is 1 tensioner for the big one, and that's this guy right here. As you can see, I have it clamped in a vise. I'm not going to unclamp it. Well, I might unclamp it a little bit, so I'll show you. Watch that little tab move. You see how that tab is moving? That is your locking tab, and there's a little pin behind it so that I can stick something in there and it'll hold it closed. But you have to hold this open while you clamp this shut, and then let it down, and then clamp it a little more. But again, don't force it. Don't force it back in there. Don't do anything like that, but you do have to do that in order to get it back in there. And when you bring it out slowly, because it's spring-loaded, so it's going to try and shoot out on you. So get 1 bolt out, get the other one most of the way out, and then kind of hold on to it while you remove the bolt the rest of the way. The harmonic balancer, you do need a 3-jaw puller, and because there's no like bolt holes in it for a regular harmonic balance puller, I just used this little guy because that's what I had and it was cheap. And I also I modified this guy to get that off because it hits the firewall. You might be able to do it without it hitting the firewall, but it was just easier. I've had this one for a long time. I've modified it for other cars that I've had to do the same thing on, but if you cut it right here, then that gives you enough room to not have to worry about it and fight it a lot less. And then I just took a bolt and stuck it in the hole that doesn't contact the threads in the harmonic balancer hole. Stick it in. Oh, well, I've got one threaded in there right now so I can turn the engine, but stick that in there so that your center shaft has something to ride on. The weep hole on this water pump, so you can tell if it's going bad, is this little channel right here, and that corresponds to a spot in the block. And what happens is when the pump goes bad, it goes through this little spot here, and it starts leaking down the side of the block on this side, because up front here, there's really nothing. Sorry, you guys might not have seen that. This little channel right here. On the front of the block, there's really nothing to leak water. All of your coolant lines and heater hoses and stuff are back there. So if you have a coolant leak coming from up here, including your 2 main hoses, they're over there. So if you have a leak coming from over here, it's either your water pump or it could be the O-ring from that hose in there. But typically that hose will leak through the back because this valley will fill up with coolant and start dribbling out the back. But you know, in some cases you could have it dripping off the front, and the easy way to tell that is you can see right down in here with everything on there, and if that is full of coolant, then it's probably those O-rings. If that's not full of coolant and you have water dripping down the front of the block, I guarantee you it's your water pump. And I would check your oil too and make sure there's not water in your oil, because that's also a for sure sign. If there's water in your oil, go to that first. These also have some cooling fan issues and stuff like that, but check on your water pump because it's not a small job. And it would really suck to have run this car for very long with it just pumping water right into the engine. So with that, what else special was there? I think that's it. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. it is all finished. I don't have my tool here at this shop to properly fill this cooling system, so I'm just going to hope that all the air bubbles make their way out. I have the front jacked up, so hopefully that works. And all I got to do is connect up the battery and then try and start it, and we'll see what happens. She's got fresh oil in it, she's got coolant in it, everything should be all hooked up, nothing's leaking, so we'll see. Fingers crossed. Oh. We're gonna prime the fuel pump a few times. Okay, here goes nothing. Oh. Definitely not idling the way she should be. Definitely got a little smoke out the tailpipe. Wow. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty sure she's bonered. We will see what happens next. Alright guys, so this is a big job, and you're gonna miss stuff. So that smoke, I let it idle for a little bit. That smoke went away. It was probably just because of brake clean or whatever that I was spraying in here. But if you look back in here, you can see I missed something. And that is the camshaft position sensor for bank 1. And you can see how that would cause an issue not being plugged in. So now that guy's plugged in, we'll go ahead and throw the intake back on so that we still get our reading from the map sensor, and then we'll see how it runs after that. All right. Here goes nothing. It's definitely running a hell of a lot nicer. Still missing a little bit, but we'll see what kind of codes it throws. We'll let it do its thing. It's idling up for some reason, but as you can see, much less smoke, much less smoke. Sounds like I got a vacuum leak somewhere. I definitely have a vacuum leak somewhere because it just died. So I'm gonna go ahead and sort through that. If you have any questions about it, because that's a really common issue, is the water pump, the timing chain, and that crossover tube are like 3 of like big main issues with these Ford Edges from I think 07 to 2015 or something like that. If you have any questions about it, I know there's a lot of stuff that I didn't go over. Ask me in the comments and I'll try and respond. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to my little rant there. And have a good one, guys.